hmm And I've done like quite a few interviews, and like one of them was completely terrible, and not even because of me. Like this, like I'm probably, all right, I don't want to even say I'm probably not getting the job. I might get the job, but like this woman had no idea what she was doing interviewing. And I'm like, wow, like you really have this person representing your company. Like this is the first person I'm talking to in your company, and she is terrible. So
So not a great representation of the company that you applying for to work in. So that's interesting, isn't it?
yeah, literally the worst representation. So um that happened, yeah. And then I had a few more that were like really good, but a lot of them are interviewing now so that they could hire for like after Labor Day, so September. And that's a ways away, so they're taking their time, like
Yeah.
letting you know the steps. And it's a lot to be like, okay, what are the next steps, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. That's tough because we all need security, don't we, of a job, and to know that we can guarantee that we have our wage coming through this time of
Right.
so we can pay our bills. So that uncertainty, yeah, I've been there before. It's not nice. It's not nice
Mm-mm-mm.
to be in. It's unsettling. So no surprise your mood's been up and down. And I heard about all the unemployment in the US at the moment. So it's tough.
It's terrible. Like a lot of my friends that did find jobs are finding like sales positions. So because of course, like that's what's open, and your commission directly like what you make is directly what you put into it basically. So it's like their salaries are up and down. People who are going back to work full time
Yeah.
aren't getting their full salaries. So it's been crazy.
Yeah, I feel for you, but I also believe in you. Yeah.
Believe in me too. But thank you.
Yeah. So I'm sure you'll find something
Hmm.
and something good. Yeah. Just letting you know that I know you believe in you. I'm just letting you know I believe in you as well. So there's that extra, positivity in your direction. Yeah. I don't doubt
I
you,
need that.
Harry. That's one thing I can never say about you, that you're not confident. So, but I'm just letting you know that I'm confident about you as well.
Thank you.
Oh dear. This topic, I'm not looking forward to talking about COVID. I gotta say, but what I will say is it. I think it's a bit like for me how I was feeling in regards to talking about Black Lives Matter so much to allies, and
Yes.
it's kind of like that it's needed, but it just feels draining.
Hmm. For
But
sure.
I tell you what, it's good because obviously I survived, and I'm here and went through a tough time, and I think it's important for others who may be experiencing the after effects like I am, just how I'm dealing with it and kind of how I get about my day to day. So that's why it's important to do it. So when I get into those mindsets of, oh no, it's another, I've got to explain this again and talk for it, I then give myself a kick up the butt and say, you know what, it's important for others. It's not just about me; it's about others as well. So
Yeah.
that's how
100%.
yeah, that's how I live my life. Anyway, is I want to help others as well. It's not just about what I want.
Hmm.
Yeah, this platform isn't just for me; it's for others as well.
So when did you first even start being sick? Because we kind of started talking afterwards,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I didn't even like really know you. That it's so funny how like we went from literally like strangers during COVID to now like we talk like once a week, like through this podcast. But yeah, so when did it all start?
that was mid-March. The interesting thing about this whole period is quite a blur to me. So, like, I was thinking back earlier, and I was like, when did that all happen and what was going on exactly? It's a bit of a blur. You're in a state of this you're just out of it because a lot of drugs that you're taking to deal with the symptoms. Um, you're not very well, so your whole mood's low, and so a lot of it is the exact stuff. I'm going to give you like as best of account of what happened as possible, but a lot of it, I was in a state of just being out of it. I was just like zonked on drugs and feeling low, the fever, So that happened like mid-March,
So
where
what kind of drugs were you even taking?
it sounds like I was on some heavy stuff, but I wasn't. It's just the fact that I was ill as well. So you just start.
Right, right.
No, I was just on paracetamols and ibuprofen, but a lot of them are like every other hour and type thing.
Yeah.
And I was on that, and yeah, you're just really out of it. You're not in like a clear state of thought or anything. So you're just in this like haze. It feels like.
Yeah. What were your symptoms?
So you have, I'll tell you what, let me talk about how it started. First of all, I just thought it was a normal cold that I suffered with, that I normally get at that time of year in particular. Because it's normally colder here in the UK that time of year. It's weird now because the winters, it's almost like it's shifted. So we get the cold weather where we should be coming into spring. We could get like really cold temperatures like it was winter. So it's weird.
Yeah.
So it's like that now in the UK. So normally I would pick up something. So I thought it was a little cold, suffer with my sinuses that I suffer with anyway. So I'm just like, yeah, I got a little cold. And this was after a weekend out in London with some friends. And I just remember when I got back, I was feeling really jaded, really drained, really, no lack of energy. I was like, what's going on here? I think I'm coming down with something.
Was it right away when you came back, or was it like a
No,
few
no, no.
days?
So the symptoms showed up as just a common cold. And then over a week, it progressively got worse. So then it started
Okay.
with just like some cold symptoms, like runny nose. As I said, I always suffer with my sinuses. I didn't have a fever then. So it just started off sore throat, sinuses, the headaches, and a bit of nausea. As the week went on, then started to come down with the fever. The cough got worse. The short of breath came into it. So I had problems breathing. Any type of exertion, I mean, just getting out my bed was me struggling to breathe. So any type of
Wow.
movement, it was awful. Just getting up and going to the toilet was a pain. Yeah, so that was very difficult. Diarrhea then kicked in. So I wasn't really eating. So I lost tons of weight over this because anything I was taking in, and your appetite goes anyway. So then the next symptoms start. So just a collection, like as the weeks went on, I just got progressively
Yeah.
worse. Then lost my sense of taste. So I'd had no appetite because I was tasting stuff and I couldn't get any flavors or anything.
Yeah.
It was just, it was a horrible period that as it lead up to my wife eventually saying, you know what, we need to take you to hospital. You're not getting any better.
Wow.
So I was then admitted to hospital. Um, so that's how the symptoms kind of progressed. It was just one thing after the other as it went on. And as I thought I was getting better, there'd be something else. And yeah, but the breathing was the worst because you get into this state of panic. Because when you're short of breath, you then start panicking about it, then it makes the breathing worse.
Yes. Yes.
So then the anxiety of it all then makes it even more difficult to breathe. So yeah.
No, I know. I mean, I've never had that issue, but I do have asthma, and there are some days where it's difficult for me to breathe. And then you even think about it for a second, and you're like, and I do like get that because that has happened to me. But here, like, I feel like a lot of people, especially the more publicized, there's some like publicized cases here that are, they don't want to go to the hospital because the hospitals here have been like so overwhelmed with
Yeah.
COVID that they think, okay, if I go to the hospital, I'm going to die. Like, that's it. there's just so much going on. And like there have been doctors who die, of
True.
COVID. So
In here.
um they're like, these people that are supposed to be protecting themselves aren't don't even have the proper protection. How can I? Um so when you went to the hospital, like what were your thoughts?
My mindset. People have asked this to me a lot of the time, and I never once thought I'd die.
Mm,
I never once thought it was going to get that serious. My wife told me after it was, but in my head, I was just thinking about getting better.
yeah.
That's all it was getting better and getting out of there, especially with how horrible hospital food is. So
Oh my God. I know.
it was absolutely awful. And I remember by then my sense of taste and smell had come back. I was lucky. Most people are still dealing with that, and it's lasted ages. But mine came back after a few days. So I
Yeah.
taste the hospital food and smell it, and it was just absolutely awful. And I was just like, I can't wait to get home and actually make myself. I think I was craving a spaghetti bolognese from scratch, like making it like the Italians make it. That's how I do. I use the Italian recipe. So
Yeah.
that's what I was craving. I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna get better. So even how crap I was feeling in that hospital, the amount of times I was being poked and prodded with needles, and I had a drip in my arm because I couldn't eat properly when I first got there. So after a couple of days, I was in there for 4 days. After a couple of days, they then took me off the drip, and then I started eating. So that's when I experienced the hospital food. But initially, I was on a drip, and I had oxygen. I was hooked up to the oxygen. I was taking that in because I couldn't breathe on my own without
Oh
that.
my. See, that's the thing. Like a lot of people have been saying, um, once they get put on the respirator, anything helping them to breathe, that their body kind of like starts shutting down,
Mm,
and that it starts to rely so heavily that like they can't actually get off. It's not getting stronger.
yeah, I luckily did.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like it. It didn't feel like it. But I luckily got stronger. Where I remember the day after 3 days, the doctor came in and said, "Look, because I actually contracted pneumonia through this as well. So,
Yeah.
my lungs were just in an awful state. But by the third day, because of all the drugs and everything that was being pumped into me, the doctor came in and said, look, your pneumonia's cleared up like 50%.
Wow.
And, we're going to take you off this breathing aid that I was taking it. There's oxygen. He goes, no, we need to take you off. I was like, what? Do you want me to die? I was thinking in my head. I
Oh
can't
my God.
breathe. So, I was so nervous. I remember him taking it off, and he goes, look, don't worry, we can switch it back on. So, just see how you get on with the breathing for that morning. Wow. I was just like, I was taking my time. But then the panic was obviously when you get up to then go to the toilet. So
Mm.
that's the panic. Because it's like, I'm gonna exert myself now. The rest of it, you're like dealing with it. I'm just like, take your time, calm down, control
Yeah.
anxiety, positive thoughts. Think about that spaghetti bolognese that you're gonna taste when you get out of here. Maybe some root beer, maybe some, all these all these positive stuff going through my head. Uh, you know, but yeah, so that was really nervy. That whole getting and I was taking my time, like every little step, like slide off the bed
No.
slowly, like really, because I don't
Yes.
exert myself too much.
Oh my God.
Just remember that theater was awful, man. That was an awful time. And speaking, I'll tell you what, I felt so loved in there, though. I will say that.
No.
Wife, my brothers, my sisters, her family, friends of mine, like the messaging, and it was just amazing. I honestly felt loved. It was nice. You don't really think about that though when you're just going through your everyday life. And then when things
Mm-hmm.
happen to you, you start realizing that, actually people actually care about you more
Yeah.
than you think. So that was nice. But just like having the energy to talk was just horrible. Like my wife, my mum, trying to talk was just, I was just like, I cannot.
Yeah.
I was like, can I just?
So did you was using your phone hard for you? Or no, because it didn't actually, you weren't actually speaking. You can like type and you had the energy to type.
Normally fun typing and the most minimum amount of energy.
Yeah. So
Voice.
besides,
But the talking was the worst though. Trying to talk when you're out
uh-huh.
of breath and struggling.
So besides your family and besides your spaghetti bolognese, what did you miss the most in the hospital?
I think with because what it does to you, the lack of, being able to breathe, and so mobility.
Mm-hmm.
I'm someone who likes to do and get around and get on with stuff, and kind of feeling you can't, knowing you can't is the worst thing what I was missing because I'm an active person. So someone saying you feeling like you can't do anything, because even now I can't get back to how I want to be,
Yeah.
because I'm not there yet. Because I feel it when I start running, I feel my breathing again. That it's very difficult for me. Um, so I think that just being able to get out and about. Because I remember the first day back when I got out of hospital, I couldn't even get up and down the stairs. Like even like trying to get. I was being hopeful about trying to, like, there's 3 like levels in my house, and I was trying to go all the way up to the top to my bedroom, and it didn't quite happen. So I got like halfway there, and I was just totally out of breath, and I just had to go and sit down. So it's the mobility. That's what I missed, really, getting out and about, and I really hate having to depend on people. That's my thing. I really hate being like, oh, I can't get down to the kitchen or can't do that. I can't make myself something. I have to rely on my wife. Or we had asked my sister-in-law at the time as well, and I was like, I've got to rely on people to do what I want. And I really hate that. I realized
Mm-hmm.
that's a part of me that I have, is I'm an independent person. I really don't like depending on anyone or relying on anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Taking that away from me was very tough.
So when do you like stop being, what is the word? Like when can people stop catching the virus from you? Like when are you non-transmittal?
This is where it's up in the air. There's nothing. There's nothing concrete saying from my doctor, anyone, that you can't catch it twice. Yeah. So I could get it, but this is the thing. I am not at the moment um, infectious. I can't pass it on at the moment. Yeah. So
Yeah.
apparently this virus is still alive in me, but it's not contagious.
Yeah. That's just crazy. Like I would be, I think if I was in your wife's position, like there have been numerous reports of celebrities who their wives will purposely get the virus so that they can be close
Hmm.
to that person. And I think in that situation, you are so close with somebody, you want to be there for them.
Hmm.
Um, Even though getting sick yourself isn't really being there for them, but um, you want to be physically close to them. So I think if I was your wife, I wouldn't care about that. But I think if I was your, maybe your sister-in-law, I would be like, well, can he still spread it? Like, is it safe for me to be here? So I just think that that would make me like nervous how you guys don't know when to set.
Yeah. My wife had it, by the way.
Oh, I didn't know.
She had it. It was very mild. Yeah.
Wow.
She lost her sense of taste and smell. She was a bit feverish. It lasted like a week for her, and that was it.
Wow. So she got it from you or she got it from someone else?
You know?
And you think you got it from being out with your friends?
Yeah, I could have got it from her though, because she works in the hospital.
Ah, okay.
We don't know. That's the problem. You don't know. So she had it, but it's mild, and I think that my sister-in-law had it as well, which was mild. So you know, obviously it affects.
Yeah.
You know, because my wife's Brazilian and half English, so because of my genes, it affects me more so.
So I haven't heard that. It's
Oh,
because of your genes, it affects you more?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Us black folk, it affects us the worst.
Okay, so I feel like I actually have, I lied. I have heard this, but I thought it was like debunked on our news that that's like not a thing.
It's a fact.
Hmm.
It's a
I
fact.
did not know that.
DNA. So the same community. So like Asian, black, um, Indian. I got to be careful about phrasing and stuff. But the BAME, as they call it, yeah, it affects us worse, and that's a fact. That is, research has been done. Um, even in the States, if you look at the statistics, about black people and for the BAME community dying, um, the actual ratio in comparison to the rest of the other races dying from this virus, yeah, it affects us worse. It's the DNA.
Wow.
So I had no underlying problems or anything, but yeah, I ended up in hospital. That's why the doctors were like, "What's going on?" So I would definitely have not made it if I had an underlying problem. That'd have been it.
Wow. That's really scary.
It is when you think about it, because as my wife said, she said you came really close. Another day at home, you'd have probably died in your sleep,
Mm.
and that would have been for me, that would have been such a poor way to go out. That's all I was
Yeah.
thinking when she told me that. I was thinking, how poor is that? Dying from this silly virus. That's how it was getting to me. I was like, come on.
At getting angry. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, I've not even achieved what I want to achieve yet. Let me leave on a note where I feel, yeah, I've done this, you know. So there's so many things that I want to achieve still. So going out before that'd have been like, you know what?
Yeah.
Give me a chance to finish off what I need to.
So I know that you do have symptoms still, but like how bad is it compared to what it was, and which symptoms do you still have?
It's nowhere near it in comparison. Right. So the symptoms you get the odd overheating every now and then. So it's not a fever. You may feel a bit slightly warm, and you have a bit of a cough every now and then. And the fatigue is the biggest thing. That's the thing that I'll get weeks of it. This week was one of them. It's off and on. It's not every week. It's often
Hmm.
fatigue and drained and no energy. Probably doesn't help at the moment. I'm doing such long shifts, but anyway, yeah, you just feel totally drained. So when you cancelled on Wednesday, I was just like, good. Why you thought I was so chill? It's because I was messed up.
Okay. I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad.
I am anyway, but I mean, I was even more so because I was messed up. I mean, like I had no energy whatsoever on Wednesday when I was
Hmm.
messed up. And luckily, I got lucky because there was two of them. Like you're the second one today, the second episode I'm doing today. It was meant to be you and this other woman on Wednesday as well. And luckily, she cancelled as well. So I was just like, good, because for me to be like, oh yeah, I'm full of energy and I'm up for this. I was just sitting in my rocking chair. See, I'm sounding like an old man. I was sitting.
Yeah.
I was sitting in my rocking chair and I was just like, I ain't got anything for Harry, man. I don't know. She's going to be carrying this on her own. I
I can just see you, like slowly.
Yeah, that's what I was listening to some music to try and get me going. I was listening to some old school just to pick me up. I was like, it just wasn't happening, man. I was just like, listen, I don't know what's going on today. So I'm so grateful for you both. That's why I was even more chilled than normal. I was like, yeah, cool. Yeah. They're gonna reschedule. I was like, yeah, I'm messed up. So I don't know even know how I was gonna deliver that. But yeah, so the fatigue's a massive one. That's the biggest one. Also, as I said, when I feel my breathing um, is really out of control, getting like a pattern with my breathing and getting enough air into my lungs and breathing out when I run. If I run, and I did that the other day actually, because I went to go and see my mum, who I haven't seen in ages in London, and I felt like absolute crap because I had to run for the train because I got behind schedule and just getting there.
Oh.
I was just like my breathing's just off. I was, again going to the panic. So the breathing gets even worse. I'm just there and people are looking at me thinking, what's up with this dude?
Yeah.
Because I got my mask on as well, remember? You have to wear it on the transport. So
Right.
I needed to take it off. I was just like, oh, here we go. I'm trying to get my breathing under the mask together.
Yeah.
But they're the biggest symptoms. And the lack of sleep, I struggled with that for ages. It's still not 100%. Is the sleeping. And obviously within your sleeping pattern and trying to, your breathing can, get really heavy and stuff like that. So that may be the state of panic or something. I don't know, whatever it is, your pattern of sleeping's all over the place. That's the symptoms I've felt. So other people's cases may be different. I don't know everyone's case, but these are the symptoms I've felt, and I've heard similar cases from other people as well. They've struggled with similar things. So, and I spoke to a doctor and they said it'd be like 3 to 4 months again before I start feeling myself. But they said that in the beginning, so they really don't know is the answer, isn't it?
Um, so this might be me being ignorant, but what kind of masks do you guys use over there? Just like cloth masks?
Oh, I wish I had one next to me. I'd show you one. It's the blue with the white, like the surgical.
Oh, so like the thin surgical masks. Do you all use them, or do you like some of you guys have?
All sorts of stuff, and that they've got specialized stuff or some things they've made out of a socket.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. I asked just because I didn't know if other governments, I guess, were helping people get be better masks.
Mm,
I know that, here we had those like bigger, the good masks, the N95 or whatever masks, and they're thicker, they're construction masks so
mm,
that no dust gets in. So it's really like nothing gets through there. But, as soon as the virus started, everyone went to the store and bought them in bulk. And like a lot of people were trying to sell them for like $300.
imagine.
So,
People's safety, and they're trying to
yeah.
be of it.
So my sister is the only one in our whole family that has one. And somebody that was like flirting with her, like had it and was like, oh, I'm going to give you this mask, flirting in the time of COVID. And she was like, okay. So she picked up the mask and which was good because out of all of us, she was the one that went out the most. She's continued working. She is a nanny and she has to go to the store all the time for the family. So it's not like just her going to, like me, I was going to the store once a week, but like she would go for herself, for the family. And
Mm.
then, so I was like happy that she had that, but I didn't know if other, governments, as I said, like with helping people more.
And, obviously, to the healthcare workers and all that, they issue them, obviously. But
Mm.
like just your everyday person, no. You buy your own. You get them when you go, obviously, in and out of medical centers, hospitals, dentists. So then you'll be issued with one, or you pay for it as a part of your whatever you was getting done there, for instance, in a dentist for a filling and what you pay the extra for the PPE. So yeah, so it's a bit like that. So yeah, certain places like on the transport and things like that, you have to wear it. In shops now that the government's part,
Yeah.
you have to wear it. Before it wasn't though. So that was interesting, isn't it? It's just now, it's just been passed yesterday in the UK.
Like, yeah, like yesterday, McDonald's was like, oh yeah, starting August 1st, everyone has to wear a mask. Bro, we're past this. Like, not to say we're past this, we're not past it. But like, we should have been doing this
From the beginning.
months. Yeah,
As soon as it hit, they should have said that.
exactly. I just don't understand the thought process behind that at all.
It's just, underestimating the pandemic, the lack of preparation, be reactive more than proactive.
Hmm.
There's a number of things, which is a shame because you got people at the moment in, as I said, I'm not in London, I'm in Peterborough, so town centre or whatever, that I don't feel comfortable going through because people are just congregating, no masks, hanging around, sitting on benches, shopping
Oh
together,
wow.
doing whatever. I'm just like, no way. So I don't want to be around that because some people are just not taking it seriously. Even though
Yeah.
we've had so many deaths and people are still dying as we speak. Remember, it's not over. People seem to think because the lockdown rules have been lessened that, oh yeah, that means it's okay now for us to go crazy and do whatever we want. You know. Um, so yeah, I'm not feeling that. So I've not gone back to, yes, I've been working throughout the whole period, but I've not been going back to my norms, even though
Hmm.
they've opened, but they haven't opened. Not at least my favorite restaurants. So I definitely won't be eating in restaurants, but pubs and
And
stuff.
what is it?
It's I don't think it's out in the States yet. It's called Cote,
Mm.
COTE, and
Mm.
it's French cuisine.
Oh, nice.
It's not the favorite. It's one of my favorites, especially living
Hmm.
in a place that's in the countryside and not London. So for
Hmm.
not London, this is one of my favorite places. For London, we'll be talking about other stuff like, I don't think you got it out there, but you will have restaurants similar, like the Real Greek. So it's all like Greek food, Mediterranean.
Hmm.
That's one of my favorites in London. Jay Shiki, which is seafood, amazing.
Mm.
Uh,
It's hard to find a good seafood place here.
yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like not existent.
Wow. I thought you'd have one.
We have one that I can think of right now. A lot of steakhouses also serve seafood, but aren't like seafood places. Um, yeah, a lot of our seafood places just like shut down. I guess they're not as popular because the prices tend to be a little bit higher because
Yeah.
seafood has to be fresh. So, yeah, they almost always go out of business.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's not good.
it's very annoying. I love seafood. That's my favorite.
So
So,
it's all about the red meat, is it?
yeah, pretty much. We have a lot of meat eaters.
But the US is known for that, though, isn't it? If you think about
Yeah, 100%.
what it's based on, and think about the forefathers and all that stuff, wasn't it? It was all
Um,
killing cattle and all of that.
yeah, yeah, they did all that for sport, for
Yeah,
fun.
exactly. So that's just continued.
Yeah.
It's not my cup of tea, really. Yeah, I don't mind the odd, but to be honest, I'd rather seafood than meat than like red meat.
I'm the same way, but I'm starting to be like, to kind of, I don't know, like step away from seafood recently. Not that I'm doing a great job, but
Yeah.
because our waters here are so polluted that
Mm,
they're saying that our fish aren't like healthy anymore.
wow.
So like for our fish to be like, they used to have so many more like vitamins and minerals and stuff, but they're just getting so polluted that like they're eating straight trash and dirt. So, like now a lot of the things that I buy, which I I don't know if I really like, but like even yesterday it was smoked salmon, like pieces for bagels and stuff, and it said farm raised, which I've never bought anything farm raised before.
Okay.
But it's like it's basically just like tanks and tanks of like salmon, whatever. And but at least they're not eating dirt and they're not eating our trash. So I'm like, but I'd rather be supporting like water cleanup. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
definitely.
why? Like, I don't want these fish to grow up in tanks. So I
That's
don't
nice,
know.
isn't it?
Yeah. As to where you can get, like, I would say, like, I don't buy um store steak, like, or anything like that. Like, I will go to someone who does kill their own meat, like raise and then kill their own meat. So I know what I'm putting into my body. It's a lot harder to do that for seafood, obviously. So anyway, getting off topic, I have one last question.
I was gonna say, have you finished all the questions?
Um,
Yeah, go ahead.
but I think for me, that whole experience just sounds not to, you of course had a very positive attitude from start to finish. But I think if I were putting myself in your shoes, like that would be a very traumatizing experience for me. So do you have any sort of like PTSD? I know you panic when you can't breathe, but I feel like that's a normal kind of reaction. Like everyone kind of panics.
Um,
Um,
my answer to that is definitely yes. And I feel
really.
it if I normally feel it if I have to start going in some. I felt it from the beginning of this conversation, so which as I said to you, I wasn't quite feeling that I have to discuss it. But as I said, if it's going to help others, that's what it's about. It's not just
Hmm.
about me. About sharing our experiences, positive or negative, and then hopefully making a difference, and people could learn, or they can get some help from this, or feel that they're not the only ones who've gone through these situations.
Hmm.
Um, Definitely. Mainly talking about it. Um, if I see, someone, on life support in a hospital bed, they look like they're
Mm,
they look like they're on their last legs or something, or that they're not going to make it. That's horrible. Then it takes me back to that. So I try and keep away from hospital dramas, and I didn't want to. I remember when I first came out, I didn't want to hear the news because the news was just negative about people dying non-stop. So yeah, stuff like that. So I still get it. I still get flashbacks.
yeah.
It makes me anxious and things like that. But you just think about the positives. You're here, just get on with what you need to, and that's my philosophy for when I feel down. So all through this period, it's been tough because it's just been ups and downs of putting the podcast together. I've still not edited anything, so I've got how many episodes that I need to go and edit now. But trying to get them done, trying to reach out, get this to a point where I'm then we're going to launch at the end of August. It's tough and it's draining, but you almost need that focus because that
Hmm.
carries you on, and it gets you through, because you can get into a negative slump of when you're fatigued and everything because you've got no energies, you don't do anything, you have no life in you, you feel like you're lifeless. So having a focus has actually helped carry me through a lot of
Yeah.
down times and feeling a bit depressed and not myself, and I don't want to do anything today, that whole mindset.
Hmm.
So it's pushing yourself through it. And don't get me wrong, you still have to rest and still take your time, but I still get stuff done. And that bit of positivity for achieving even these small wins on my day to day is good enough to keep me going and keep me energized and motivated to get on with the next day. And the next day I might have more energy, so then I'll try and do more.
Yeah.
But what I will say is the exercise of it's gone down to almost near zero. Where when I started becoming mobile, when I first came out, I was doing a lot of walking. I was walking like
Hmm.
7 miles, and you know,
Wow.
I was doing that on every other day, and don't get me wrong, some days were horrible because I'd do that and then that'll be it. Couldn't do anything. Back on my rocking chair and that was it, you know. So the exercise recently, because I've been feeling so fatigued, I've not done much, which is
Yeah.
annoying me because, you know, the lockdown weight, you know, no more 6-pack, just a 1-pack. No, it's not good.
No, but
Um, it's just wanting to get back to that. So yeah, as I said, it still goes on, and it's a constant fight to keep yourself motivated and keep going. But having a focus and having something to focus your attention on helps me to get through those down times.
yeah, understood.
You know, and that's what my advice would be. Anyone that's struggling with this, and I know it's easier said than done. Yes, because some days are very difficult when you can't do much. But get a focus. You know, it could be learning a new language, whatever it is. You know,
Mm-hmm.
get something that you can focus on. Even one of your goals for the year. I know it's been tough because of the pandemic and getting stuff done, but even one of your goals for your year, one of your New Year's resolutions, if you could even tick off one or two of them or one of them, whatever, do everything in moderation because you're not Superman. So it's just one thing after another. So if you can tick off one thing, then you can say, look, that's success, isn't it? So it makes you feel better. It energizes you.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
Achieving energizes you. It makes you feel good.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what this is, and that's what this platform's doing for me. So I may be helping others, but I'm also helping myself at the
Right.
same time. So that whole self-healing, healing others, you can heal yourself as well. So for me, that it's bigger than just this platform for me and me to get my name out there, whatever, people may think this is about.
Mm-hmm.
My cause for this was to have a voice, use that voice, for subjects I'm passionate about or just things that have happened in the world, challenging and letting people know my opinion and just trying to reach people. You can't reach everyone, but you may reach some people and make a difference in people's lives. So that was the idea of this whole platform.
100%. Well, that's great. I love that.
That's it. Any more questions?
I think that would be it. I think you answered all of them.
Cool. I was surprised I did actually. I was looking at them thinking, oh no. You have to go.
No, this seems to be pretty good and definitely, I don't know, like, I mean, eye-opening for me. I didn't know that, Black people have, like, gene wise, are more susceptible to, I guess, getting in, also having a harder time with it.
Yeah.
Um, that's super interesting to me. So even, this is supposed to be educational for everybody, but it was educational for me for sure, because I didn't even know that.
And you've got to know me a bit better, haven't you?
Yeah,
I mean, what I'm about and what keeps me going.
for sure.
But yeah, this is what this platform's about. As I said, this is about sharing, isn't it? So, anything on your mind, Ari? Anything to share?
No, just talking about COVID and farm raised salmon.
That's enough, yeah. But I would like to say thank you very much for asking me the
Yeah.
questions. We switched it around this time, something different, something new, and yeah, it's been fun as always. Listen, have
Yes,
a
always.
lovely weekend, and I'll
Yeah.
speak to you soon. Yeah. See
All
you later.
right, sounds great. I'll
Yeah.
see you soon.